Hi guys, it's Emily from Nobel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my December wrap-up part 2 and I've had a great reading month. I've read a lot of 5 stars, a lot of 4.5 stars, and it's generally been an amazing reading month. Now, I think in my book haul I'm talking more about my plans for February. So in January you are going to get the sort of standard January video. So the next one after my book haul will be the best books of 2024. Then I've got the 2024 wrap-up. Then I'm obviously, all the wrap-ups are going to be the same this month. And I'm obviously doing a series update. And towards the end of the month I will be doing how has my reading changed, because my reading journal that I started in 2020 is now full up. So I'm going to go over that in that video. And then February it will be the new way the way I'll be doing the video. So it will be, you'll still get my TBRs, you'll still get my wrap-up part, but you won't be getting wrap-up part 1, you'll be getting weekly wrap-ups, and in that weekly wrap-ups you'll be getting what I'm grateful for that week. So that'll be the way it's going to work. I haven't yet planned it in my little journal. By the way, to show you my new pretty journal. So I've got that, and that's the way it's going to work. What I will be doing is an extra video at the end of the month though, to go over the stats like I'm talking about at the start of the videos, because I do like doing my stats. But it'll be a nice short but sweet video talking about the genres that I've been reading and obviously the stat bit, so all of that bit. So you'll just be getting a very nice short but sweet video about that, and that'll be coming up on a Wednesday. As to when, I don't know, but I've really worked out that it is actually going to take a lot of stress off me, and I bloody need it, because when you're reading the amount of books that I read, it's quite stressful planning the wrap-ups part 1 and 2. So to go over what I'm reading weekly, and I will be talking about the books less. So what I'm going to do is today, you're going to see the start of the way I'm doing this, which is anything that's 3 or 4 stars, I won't be going into much detail about, but I'll be talking about the books that are 5 stars and the books that really impacted me, because that's what I want to do. I don't want to do individual reviews, but I want to talk more about the books that have, because I find individual reviews hard, but I do want to talk more about the books that I've really enjoyed. Unfortunately, I've got slight sniffles, so bear with me. Slight cough. Slight cold, sorry, not cough, but slight cold, but hey ho. So, I have had a flop. So first of all, before I talk about those books, let's talk about the stats. Read 32 books this month, which is still quite good, and like I said, that's going up to the 30th, because I've stopped reading yesterday. So I didn't put pressure on me today, and I can then start new year, start home. I read 28 off my unread TBR, because that's 2 library books and 2 rereads. That is going to be very similar going forward, because obviously I'm doing my reread plan, so I'll be doing, but hopefully it'll only be 1 reread, but it might be 3 library books. But it's meant that I gained 36 books in December. Half of those were gifts, but I still bought 18, which I probably shouldn't have done. And I did unhaul with 0 books off my unread TBR, because actually I'm enjoying what I've got. I've got my reading level, my books down to the books that I want to read. So my December unread TBR is 281 books, and January it's starting off at 289, so I've gained 8 books. But gaining 8 books when you've been given 30, when you've got 36, is not a bad thing. On my stats bit, I will tell you how many books how much, like obviously the stats for the whole year, but I will tell you that I have actually only got my unread TBR down by 36 books in the last year. But that was a goal. I've cracked it. I had my number where I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be 300 books, under 300 books unread. And for me that library number is fine. I will talk about it more in my stats, but I never wanted to, I didn't focus on that. I didn't focus on my numbers last year, and I'm not going to focus on my numbers next year. Actually, going forward, I'm going to focus on getting my read books on my shelves down, so I've got a bit more room. And that's something Charlie's done, and that's something I'm going to do. So, as to that, it's not the worst thing. Yes, I do need to get it down a bit more. I do need a bit more room on my shelves. But for me, 289, it's not that bad. And for a lot of people, that would be too much. But for me, it's where I'm happy. I will get it down in January, because I'm not going to be buying as much in January, and I won't get gifted, obviously, hardly any in January, unless when Charlie does her unhaul, she throws me loads of books, but I'm going to try and be good. and not take too many off for her. Try. Let's hope and pray I do that. You'll find out next month. Oh, by the way, I'm still going to be doing book hauls. They're still happening because I bloody love filming. They're my favourite books to film. My wrap-ups and my book hauls are my favourite videos to film. Actually, my book hauls are my favourite. My book hauls are my favourite videos to film, and my TBRs are my favourite videos to film. So those 2 videos alone are going to stay the same. Right, genres. I read 1 thriller, that was a bloody blue flop. 2 classics. 3 non-fiction. 4 fantasies. All of those were brilliant star ratings. 8 historical fiction and 14 contemporary. Again, I'm reading a lot of contemporary because with December it's been a very stressful month. For me, December is not my favourite month because it is too busy, and with all my stuff I find it a bit stressful. I love the kids, love the gifts, don't get me wrong, I'm really lucky, really blessed, but for me it's very stressful. So January I'm going to chill, and I'll read probably a bit more because I really am planning to chill in January. So I had one 2-star book, which I'll show you, 5 3-star books, slightly higher, no 3.5, so that's good, 7 4-star books, 7 4.5-star books, but the biggest thing is I had 12 5-star books this month, and after last month not getting very many, and I think this has probably been one of the best reading months of my year. So yes, I ended the year on a high, and I've got 2 books that are going on to my favourites. Should be the next video, one of the next videos. So, like I said, I won't talk too much about all of the books, partly because I want to get this filmed, because I want to eat some lunch. My floppy book of the month was The Cat Who Saved for Christmas by Cleveland and Murray. This wasn't so much about the cat, but it was about loads of stories. I didn't really grasp it, didn't really enjoy it. It was a complete and utter bloody flop, so I'm not trying to read books by this. I love the cats, but it wasn't talking about enough about the cat. Talk about the cat. Books about cats make me happy. Not enough about the cat. I love cats. So this was a big flipping flop. Charity shop, here we come. Then to a book that surprised me because I didn't enjoy it as much, which is my Agatha for Alice book, and that is They Do It With Mirrors. And I didn't enjoy this as much as I wanted. It's probably my least favourite Agatha so far, and I think from what I've gathered, Alice didn't love it as much. I will be talking about it on my Agatha for Alice live, which will be talking about this and The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. I haven't yet planned when I'm doing it. I will be talking to Jack, who I think I'm doing it with, and I may beg someone else. But yeah, I will talk about that more on the live, but it was probably my least favourite Agatha so far. It was one of the earlier Marple book, just didn't grasp it as much. I didn't guess the killer, but I don't know why I didn't enjoy this one as much. There was something about it that I didn't enjoy. Whereas on the Murder of Roger Ackroyd, I bloody loved. So this one was a bit of a floppy one, but still Agatha, still good, just not a favourite. That's a keepy. Then 2, I've just realised I've got to go on the right page. The 3 stars I got from the library, so these ones I'm not going to talk too much about. The 12 Dates of Christmas by Lisa Dickinson. Very contemporary, very much of this girl is feeling a bit pom-pommy about her life. At 30, her life is stale and her romance with her boyfriend has disappeared. And she goes on this mission to, she goes on 12 dates, and it's obvious who she's going to be with. Obvious romance. Very contemporary. It was just okay. Charity shop can have that. Not actually kept many Christmas. I'm going to have to start buying my Christmas books for next Christmas, 2025. Then the one I got from the library, and I previously loved all of Sue Moorcroft's books. This was one I got in the library book sale last year. Very much of an average 3 stars. Again, the girl in this was just a bit of a pom-pommy, and this Christmas the villagers will go on a very Swiss adventure. And friends to romance, enemies to lovers, romance, doodahs, family roots. Thinks because it's got an LGBTQI twist in it, it's going to be alright, but it was just average. Nothing amazing. So, charity shop's going to have that. And that was the 3 stars. So, those ones, just average. The 4 stars are good. I'm probably not going to keep many of them, but they are good. This was one of the last books I finished, and that is Witched You Weren't Here by Emma Jackson. And what more do I need to say? Witchy fantasy romance. It had my jam. It was just what I needed. It was, when I'm saying I read it alongside one of the harder hitting books this month, it was perfect to go alongside that book. I'll tell you that book when I get to it. But it was fun. It's witchy romance. Yes, you can guess the romance. Yes, you can guess some of the twists. But it was fantasy. It was fun. It was witchy. Talked about love, and it was contemporary, and it was just a good, cozy romance with lots of moments where I laughed and a bit of soppy moments. But I blooming loved it. Really, really enjoyed that book. Really good witchy romance though. Then to the book that I was supposed to read with Charlie. But she didn't read it because she was supposed to read it and she bought it for me. She was supposed to read it for the Lauren and the books. This was short stories. I hope she won't mind if I give it to charity. I'll talk to her, but I'm not sure what we're doing with it. But it's 12 short stories, 12 gifts over one Christmas to remember, and it's short stories, but it wasn't as Christmassy as I felt. It was 4 stars, so it was good. So some of these short stories I loved. Did like the way they interlinked. It was good. But it wasn't quite as Christmassy as I wanted it to be. So actually that one can go there because I'm not sure what I'm doing with it. Then to Little Women, which is only 4 stars because it's one of my favourites. It was my reread for the month. And I do like Little Women, but I don't know whether I just wasn't in the right frame for it. I do like Good Wives. And it was 4 stars. It was still good. It was still a good book. But I didn't as much enjoy it this time, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just my mood at the time of reading, because I wasn't in the best of frame of mind. But we all know Little Women. The UK, we have Little Women and Good Wives in separate books. So maybe I'll read Good Wives. But when I compare it to my other favourite classic from a similar era, which is obviously Anne of Green Gables, I didn't like that quite as much. So it was good. I'm keeping it. Just didn't love it quite as much as I thought I would. Then to another book I got from the library, and this is Christmas at Twopenny Corner by Katie Flynn. Quite a good historical fiction set in wartime, Liverpool 1939. Bit of romance in this, a bit of family, life on the barges, a bit of mystery, a bit of excitement. Good, very historical fiction. Good, but not necessarily one that I'm going to reread, but very good. I really did enjoy it, and I thought the timelines were big, and considering it's a big book, I flew through it really quickly. So that's a good sign. Katie Flynn does write good ones. And now to my 4.5 star books. And these were a lot better. For me, they were good. A few of them were series books. So first one is The East End Angels Together Again. It's really weird. I'm reading the last book in the series, but I'm rereading the first book at some point into 2025. And this was East End Angels Together, so I can't talk too much about it because it's set post-war about the 4 leading characters from the East End Angels, which is Winnie, Frankie, Bella and Violet. They're all in the other first books of the series, and it's kind of penultimately ending the series and it tying it all together. It did it really well. It was 4.5 stars. I really did enjoy it. But yeah, so I'm looking for one. Then to a book that I wasn't sure if I was going to fit it on my TBR, because I've read 2 Sarah Morgans this month. And I think one of them was 5 stars, which is The Christmas Bookshop. And this was 4.5 stars, and this is A Christmas Cottage. And I really enjoy it. The Amazon anonymous person gave it to me, and I read it the same year it came out. What is happening to me? I'm starting to read books as soon as I get them, because, do you know what? I don't have to wait. And this was just what you needed. It was a lovely book. I think the reason why I only got 4.5 stars was because the twist that you were expecting didn't happen. The bit that you were expecting didn't happen till a lot further in the book. Sorry about this. Will this Christmas finally bring comfort and joy? A painful secret. So Imogen sort of creates this image about herself. So all her colleagues think her life is perfect. She's got everything, but actually she doesn't. She's putting on a show. Because an act of kindness happens when her favourite client, Dorothy, invites her to spend Christmas with her and her family. And then very quickly you get a twist that I must admit I didn't expect. And then it gets really good. But that little bit didn't happen till a lot further in the book than I was expecting. But this was a really, really good book, and then Mum's going to love it. I'm going to let Mum read it first. It wasn't quite as good as the Christmas Book Club, but for me it was a brilliant Sarah Morgan. She does write great contemporaries. Really did enjoy it. Then I finished a series. The last book of the month that I read, which I finished yesterday, and I finished a series. So I decided to read The Catch by Amy Lee. And this was a saucy romance. It was the third in the series. So I read Set on Her and the other two books, X's and O's. Set on You, X's and O's and The Catch. And this is about their friend, Melanie Carlson. And actually I need to put it right there. Ready. And this was you do get connections to the first two books, which is good. I love that. That's why you have to read it third. You do have to read this book in order. Sorry, it's Chris. And it's a romance. You've got a bit of salt. It is very saucy. There's a lot of saucy stuff in this. It does talk a bit about body positivity, which I like. And it does have the sexy man that you know she's going to end up. You can predict the romance. Obviously, that bit's good. I like the family element. I like the found family element. I like the cheeky bits in it. I really, really enjoyed it. Really thought this was great fun. Great end to the series. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was just perfect to end the month. And I don't know if you heard Chris back then. A bit cheeky bit. But yeah, definitely like the old sexy bit. Actually, it was quite fun. It was just kind of cheering me up. Got to enjoy a bit of a saucy romance. If you enjoy saucy romances, read this series because it does have a lot of sauce. But it is really good. And it does talk about, like I said, body positivity, friendships, found family. Really enjoyed it. But that is going to the charity shop. And Mum will not read the saucy romance. That's not for Mum at all. Then the book again I was supposed to be reading with Kat. What is happening with my buddy reads? They're going a bit foofled at the moment. And this was the fourth book in the Trials of Apollo series, The Tyrant's Tomb. We've decided that after the last book in this series, we're going to have a break from Rick Riordan for a few months at least. Because I think we've overdone it on the Rick Riordan books. And Kat's not enjoying the series as much. And this, the third book, was a bit of a floppy. It's 4 stars, floppy. And this I was like, oh God. I don't enjoy this series as much as I enjoyed the Trials of Apollo series. Not the Trials of Apollo series. The Heroes of Olympus series. But this was a lot better than the third book. Not quite as good as like I said, the other series. But it was really good fun. I can't tell you too much about it because it's obviously 4th book. I am looking forward to the 5th book. I do want to wrap up the series. And they're obviously going on a mission to save Camp Jupiter. And there were some twists that I didn't expect, which I love. Some lovely caring bits, friendship bits. It was exciting. For some reason, I really did enjoy this a lot more than the 3rd book. So I'm hoping that the 5th book wraps it all up and does it well. Because Apollo I hate as one of the gods. He's not one of my favourite gods, from what I've read. But this was really good. Really enjoyed it. So if you ever read this series and you think book 3, oh my God, it puts you off, carry on to read book 4 because it is better. But obviously that's a geeky book. So the next was, again, a book I bought and read straight away, and this is A Recipe for Christmas by Jo Thomas. Again, it's a really good book, a book that Mum's going to love. It's got about chocolate. Talk about making my chocolate cravings worse. God. It's set in it's set in Switzerland. And Clara decides to upend her life and go with a new boyfriend that she barely knows to Switzerland. And she goes on a chocolate making boot camp, and it's really good fun, and a lot about friendship, about fitting in, about it doesn't matter how old you are, you can change your life, the direction your life's going in. It doesn't matter, and it really is really good about friendship, found friendships, challenging yourself, doing things that you wouldn't expect. Really, really enjoyed this, and Mum's going to read it and I might keep it, because it also has some recipes for chocolate stuff at the end, and I kind of want to try making it. Do I try it? Maybe? Now, so the next one is my 5 stars, and oh my goodness, I love 5 stars. All of these are incredible. Like, you will be able to guess which my favourite of all of them is, because you all know me. My subscribers, if you're new to me, if you want to give it a go, try and predict my favourite. If you're not, you'll know. And all of these books are really, really good. And why is my nose streaming in this video? But I love them all. I've got to think about I've got to put together my list of my favourite books of the year, and I'm struggling because there's one book in here that could go on the list, but I don't know. Right, so the first one is Roomie Leisure Ever After, which is the sequel to Roomie Leisure, and again, I loved it. It had some dark bits that scared me. It had some twisty bits. It's like a bit of a Snow White thing, you know, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fiercest of them all. It's got some quite dark twists. It's one story. Like, the other, Ruby and Asia's got loads of different, like, fairy tales mixed in. This is mainly sort of one main one. And, like, Ruby and Asia is obviously still hunting to find her long-lost parents. And she receives a mysterious invitation from Sarah White, Queen of Bishnara. And she's soon pulled into a dark magical adventure, one that threatens our own happy ever after. This was bloody good fun. Really, really good. Fantasy, absolutely blooming loved it. It was a sugar candy that I needed. Fantasy is totally my jam at the moment. And I have less of it, that's why I've got to spread them out. So I need to get more and more cosy fantasies, more and more middle grade fantasies. This was great. You need to read Revelation first and then read this, because this was top dollar. Very, very good. Really dark, really twisty. Some twists that I didn't expect, which I love. I love the fact I couldn't predict it. Yes, you know what the ending a little bit, but you don't know how she's going to get there. So, absolutely blooming love that. Mum's going to read that because I know Mum loves that. Then another book I read, completed the series so far, unless whether Kathy Brownlee decides to read it. I bought it in November and read it, or November or December, and read it straight away. I was going to try and leave this to January, but I decided that the Christmas books have to be read in December. I want January to be new thing, starting afresh, getting my reading just the way I want them. So I am going to be tougher on myself. If I don't want to read a book, then I'm not. If a book doesn't suit me, I'm going to DNF it quicker. I'm going to do what Jennifer from Jennifer Loves Books does. Book Stubs. I am going to DNF more. This one, I felt like reading it, so I read it. Again, it's third in the series, and I can't go into too much, but it's about Mary. I thought it would be about, like, following with the stuff with her sister that was in the second book. I just gave away a twist there. Oopsie. Yeah. If you don't want to know about the series, like, press mute until I put the book down. Don't go anywhere. Just press mute. Okay? Don't leave me. Don't leave me. I've still got a few more good books to talk about. But this is the third in the series, and oh my god, I love this series. Kathy Brownlee is smashing. I'm keeping this series because I've already reread the first two books. So maybe next year I might want to reread this one. But you are talking about Nell in this book, who desperately wants for Christmas. She wants a baby, and Mary's pregnant, and their friendship is pretty much tightened. It's under a lot of stress, and Mary has a really tough pregnancy, and it is really hard, and it's really, really good. And I love the friendship, I love the setting, I love the community aspects. I just love this book. But it did break my heart on a few points. There were some really heartbreaking moments in this book, and very, very emotional, but it was just bloody brilliant. I am so glad I read it straight away. I am going to stop sniffling. One of these days, Chris is going to show me how to edit out me wiping my nose, but I am what I am. Then to the last Christmas book, and that is Home for Christmas by Heidi Swain. And did she disappoint? Did she flipping heck? Heidi Swain is my new favourite contemporary author. She pulls 2 books out a year, whereas Page Tree does 1, which is not bad. They're both favourites, but God, Heidi Swain. I need to start rereading her books because I loved this so much. I'm not sure if it's continuing which series it's continuing, but you got to read all her books in order, really. All she wants for Christmas is her cosy home back. And Bella is living her best life in Wimbridge, so set in Wimbridge again, with her beloved spaniel Tink. I love the fact she has dogs in this and animals. It's brilliant. I know I'm not a dog person, but animals is brilliant. And she's been expanding on her dream business, and she's ecstatic that Christmas is on the horizon. And then the family friend, Catherine, who runs the big manor, who's one of the big, she's been in all, most of them. And someone's being noisy. If she'd be willing to rent the part of the house to author Jude, who is researching the history of the Connolly clan. And Jude can't cope with the chaos. And Jude hates Christmas, and that sort of puts off things for them. And they clash, and then something happens, and they kind of, the romancy kind of gist. But it's cozy romance, it's Christmas, it's friendships, it's against the odds. It's just brilliant. It's a cozy Christmas book, and I loved it. I love Heidi Swain's books. They are amazing. She cannot disappoint. She cannot get anything less than 5 stars. If she gets a book less than 5 stars, I will be totally surprised. It is cosy. Not too much sauce, but a little bit, obviously. But brilliant. Mum's going to love it. I'm going to love it. It was brilliant. Can't wait to reread it at some point. So yes, I keep those. Then the book I borrowed from the library, and I was going to leave it till like the last minute. And then I decided to sod it and read it. And this is a book that everyone's talked about. It was up for the Booker Prize. And this is James by Percival Everett. I might try The Trees now because I wasn't sure I would like this because it's Booker and that's not normally my jam. And it was one of Angie's favourite books and so many people rated it 5 stars. And it's like a Huckleberry Finn retelling. I didn't think I would love it, but I did. It's so close to being added to my favourites to the point where I don't know if I reread it. That's why it's not going to go on my favourites. But I'm tempted. Like I'm almost tempted to see if I see this in the charity shop, I might buy it because it was really, really good. Very, very hard hitting. I can totally get why it's on everyone's favourites for the year. It was brilliant. It was absolutely blooming brilliant. It was heartbreaking, emotional, scary, sad, all of the above. But a fantastic book, and it should have won the Booker. It should have won the Booker. It really should. It was so, so good. And I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I recommend everyone read it, even if you don't think you're going to like it. I read Huckleberry Finn years ago, and I like this better than Huckleberry Finn. But yeah, bloody brilliant. I've got to give it back to the library now. And then I saved the best till last. The Women by Kristen Hanna. I didn't think anyone could beat Brotherless Night. Really didn't think it. Didn't think anything could beat that. But I'm gonna think, because I don't know when exactly I'm going to film my favourite books of the year. I know it's going to be the penultimate, the next video I've got to film. But this could beat it, because it did make me cry. It did. It was very, very sad. Jem rated it 4 stars, but she knew that she said that I would love it, and she was right. Jem was like, Ange got it for me for my birthday last year, and this year, sorry. You know what I mean. I'm getting a bit torn between the years. But this was smashing. It's set in Vietnam War. Most of the first half or first 3 quarters set in the Vietnam War. And it's about the women that went over there to nurse. And when they got back, everyone said the women weren't at Vietnam, but they were. And the nurses did a lot of stuff over there. And it's heartbreaking to see they got dismissed, because a lot of this is based on fiction, on fact, because the women did go over there to nurse, and they got affected by it just as much as the men. Some people, yes, less of them died, but they still got affected. And this is something that really needs to be shouted out about, and I think Kristen Hanna has really captured that so well. And it talks about one of the women that went over there. She went over there because her brother fought in the war, and she was fighting in the war. And just after she volunteered to do it, she found out a twist, found out something sad. But she still went over there. And yet her dad and everyone didn't recognise what she did. And the tragedies that happened over there is unbelievable. There is some romance in this. There is a lot of sad moments, and you will cry, and it will break you into 1,000 pieces. But this is one of the best books. And I thought Four Winds broke me by Kristen Hanna. This broke me even more. She is an incredible writer, an incredible author, and I recommend her to everybody. And this has smashed it out of the park, and I think it could be a favourite. I think it's going to be my favourite, because I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And that's not saying I loved it as in it made me happy, because it didn't. The whole thing made me sad. But it was a fantastic book, and it well and truly just smashed it out of the park. So I just can't say I loved it more. So yeah, this was my favourite book of the month, and this is probably going to be my favourite book of 2025. So, I didn't think about my emoji if you got to the end of the video. But I think I'm going to do your last Christmas emoji, and I'll do the gift emoji because I've got that coming up. I still think I should do a star emoji. No, I said the star emoji last time. Do a Christmas tree emoji, sod it. Do a Christmas tree emoji. It's been Christmas. It's been all that. That's what everyone's been about this Christmas. Do a Christmas tree emoji. Actually, no. Change my mind. Why am I random this way? do a Santa or Mrs. Santa emoji, because Santa's brought loads of good things and it's been a lot of good vibes and the kids have all loved it and things like that. So do a Santa emoji if you got this video at the end of the video. Let me know what you've enjoyed this month. Let me know if I've encouraged you to buy any of these books or whatever else. But yeah, let me know what you've been reading this month. I love speaking to you all in the comments. Thank you all for all your support in 2020, because this will be my first video in 2025. Thank you all for all your support in 2024. It was a crap year, but I got through it and we all did. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.